You wake up this morning and the first thing you feel is that pain. It starts in your calf, spreads to the sole of your foot, and forces you to stretch your leg before you even open your eyes. You lie there for a moment, still groggy, and think, it must be the mattress, or the cold, or just my age catching up with me. You take a slow breath, wait for it to pass, and eventually get up, because that's what you do, every single morning. You just push through it. But here is the question I need you to sit with right now. What if that pain is not about your mattress, not about the cold, and not about old age? And if I told you that your body, right there, in that quiet moment before your feet even touch the floor, is sending you one of the most urgent warning signals your circulatory system is capable of sending? I recorded this video with a knot in my throat, because every single week, in my practice, I see at least 2 or 3 patients who come in describing exactly what I just told you. And when I ask how long they've been feeling that pain, the answer is almost always the same. Oh, a few years now, doctor. I just thought it was my age. Years. They spent years ignoring a signal their body was sending them every single morning. As a physician with decades of experience in preventive medicine, I have dedicated my practice to one mission: getting to people before the damage becomes irreversible. And today, you are one of those people. You found this video for a reason, so I need you to stay with me until the very end, because what I am about to share with you could genuinely change the trajectory of your health, starting this week. In this video, I am going to walk you through the 6 most underestimated causes of leg pain upon waking, ranked from the least to the most dangerous. And I promise you, the number 1 cause on this list is going to surprise you. Most people watching this right now would never guess it, not in a million years. Before we start, please take a moment and share this video with someone you love, a spouse, a sibling, a dear friend, because this information could quite literally save a life. One more thing, this video is educational and informational. It does not replace a consultation with your own doctor. Always seek your physician's guidance for your specific situation. Are we in agreement? Good. Then let's get into it. To understand why your legs are hurting you every single morning, I need you to picture something. Imagine the plumbing system inside an old house. You have pipes running all the way up to the 2nd floor, carrying clean water under pressure. And you have pipes running all the way back down, draining the used water back out. Now imagine that the drain pipes, the ones responsible for bringing everything back down and out, start to get sluggish. The water sits, it pools, it stagnates inside the pipes. That pressure builds up, the pipes get heavy, and eventually the whole system starts to struggle. That is exactly what is happening inside your legs right now. Your arteries are the supply pipes. They carry oxygenated blood from your heart all the way down to your feet. But your veins are the drain pipes, and they have to do something far more difficult. Push that used oxygen-depleted blood back up against gravity, all the way back to your heart, every single minute of every single day. To make that happen, your body relies on 2 extraordinary mechanisms. The first is your vein valves, tiny one-way doors, like turnstiles at a subway entrance, that open to let blood flow upward and then snap shut so it cannot fall back down. The second, and this is the one most people have never heard of, is what medicine calls the calf muscle pump. Every time you take a step, your calf contracts, squeezes the veins inside it like pressing a tube of toothpaste, and physically pushes that blood upward toward your heart. According to the Journal of the American Heart Association, this muscle pump is responsible for moving up to 90% of all venous blood returning from the lower limbs. 90%. Your calves are not just for walking, they are the engine of your entire lower circulation. Now here is the part that matters most for you. When you stop moving, when you sit for hours, or lie still through the night, that pump goes completely silent. The blood slows down, it pools in your legs, and by the time morning comes, your veins are engorged, your tissues are under pressure, and the nerves in your calves and feet are already signaling distress. That pain you feel when you first wake up, that is not your mattress. That is your circulation asking you, urgently, to turn the pump back on. Cause number 6 on our list is magnesium and potassium deficiency. Tell me, have you ever been jolted awake in the middle of the night by a cramp so violent in your calf that you had to get up and walk it off? According to the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, more than 60% of adults over 60 are chronically deficient in magnesium, and most have absolutely no idea. Think of magnesium and potassium as the shock absorbers of your muscle fibers. Without them, your muscle hits the slightest stress and seizes instead of releasing cleanly. That is your nighttime cramp. No shock absorbers, no smooth ride. Margaret, 68 years old, a retired elementary school teacher from Columbus, Ohio, had been sleeping with a heating pad wrapped around her calf every single night for 3 years. 3 years. Her daily menu was always the same: canned soup at lunch, white sandwich bread, processed cheese, almost no dark greens, no bananas, no nuts. After adjusting her diet and adding a magnesium supplement recommended by her doctor, she came back to my office and told me something I will never forget. For the first time in 3 years, I slept through the whole night without that terrible cramp. 3 years of broken sleep because of a mineral deficiency that nobody had ever thought to check. What can you do starting today? Eat more dark leafy greens, almonds, pumpkin seeds, and black beans. Add potassium through bananas, avocado, and sweet potatoes. Ask your doctor for a simple blood magnesium test. It costs almost nothing. And limit alcohol and excess coffee, because both flush magnesium out of your body faster than you think. But the next cause, it is hiding in plain sight, and there is a very good chance it is affecting you right at this moment. Cause number 5 is chronic silent dehydration, and I need you to hear this carefully because it surprises almost every patient I tell it to. The sense of thirst decreases significantly after the age of 60. Your body simply stops sending you the signal. A landmark study from the National Institutes of Health confirmed that the majority of Americans over 65 are mildly but chronically dehydrated, without ever feeling thirsty. When your body is dehydrated, your blood becomes thicker. Imagine the difference between water flowing through a pipe and syrup trying to move through that same pipe. Thick blood struggles to push through the tiny capillaries of your feet and calves. Your tissues receive less oxygen overnight, and by the time morning comes, those nerves in your legs are already in distress. Frank, 72 years old, a retired small business owner from Houston, Texas, told me during his first visit that he drank maybe 2 glasses of water a day. "I just never feel thirsty, doctor. Never have." He was reaching for ibuprofen almost every morning for leg pain. After we gradually increased his daily hydration with a clear, structured plan, he came back 2 weeks later and said, "I had absolutely no idea that water could do that." The pain had dropped noticeably, without changing anything else. What to do? Drink at least 1 full glass of water first thing in the morning before your coffee. Keep a water bottle visible on the counter so your eyes remind you what your thirst no longer will. And remember this rule: by the time you actually feel thirsty, you are already dehydrated. But what comes next surprises nearly everyone who watches this video, because the villain is something you eat every single day without even realizing it. Because number 4 is hidden sodium in the diet. And I am not talking about the salt shaker on your table. That is only a fraction of the problem. I am talking about canned soups, deli meats, processed cheese slices, seasoning packets, and white sandwich bread. A single can of soup can contain over 900 milligrams of sodium. A few slices of deli ham, a couple of tablespoons of bottled salad dressing, a serving of instant seasoning, and you have already exceeded your entire daily recommended limit before dinner. The CDC reports that Americans over 60 consume, on average, more than 3,400 milligrams of sodium per day, nearly 40% above the recommended ceiling. Here is what that excess does inside your body. It triggers a hormone called aldosterone, which signals your kidneys to hold onto water in the tissues. And your legs become the storage tank. By the time you wake up in the morning, the accumulated pressure on the nerves and blood vessels in your calves and feet is what you feel as that familiar heaviness and burning. Diane, 64 years old, a homemaker from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, used the salt shaker at every single meal and ate deli meats daily. She told me she thought the swelling in her ankles was just her blood pressure acting up. It was not just that. After identifying the 3 biggest hidden sodium sources in her daily menu and making targeted swaps, low-sodium soups, fresh proteins, herbs and lemon in place of seasoning packets, her afternoon ankle swelling reduced noticeably within 10 days. I never would have guessed the ham was the problem, she told me. What to do? Read nutrition labels before you buy. Swap canned goods for low-sodium versions whenever possible. Season with herbs, garlic, and lemon instead of salt. Your veins, your nerves, and your sleep will all thank you for it. And now, my friend, now we are getting into the territory that really matters. Because the next 2 causes on this list are the ones most responsible for turning morning discomfort into something far more serious over time. Stay with me. Real quick, before we get to the next cause, tell me in the comments, where are you watching this from? Write your city down there. I genuinely love knowing where you all are. And if you are not yet subscribed to this channel, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on the notification bell so you never miss what comes next. All right, let's keep going, because the next cause is one that millions of people actually believe is good for them, and it is quietly making everything worse. And now we arrive at number 1. And I will be honest with you, this one is going to surprise the vast majority of people watching this video right now, because it is not a food, it is not a medication, it is not even something most people would ever think to put on a list like this. It is something you almost certainly did yesterday, something you will probably do again today, and something that, over the course of months and years, is quietly strangling the circulation in your legs more effectively than almost anything else I have described in this entire video. The number 1 cause of morning leg pain in people over 60 is prolonged sitting during the day. I know. I can almost hear you through the screen. But doctor, I am retired. I have earned the right to rest. And you have. You absolutely have. But here is what no one tells you, and what I need you to understand right now. Your circulatory system was not designed for stillness. Remember that calf muscle pump I explained earlier? The one responsible for pushing up to 90% of all venous blood from your legs back to your heart. Every time you sit for more than 45 minutes without moving, that pump shuts down completely. The blood stops moving. It pools in your veins like water sitting still at the bottom of a pipe. And while you are resting comfortably in your chair, your legs are working against gravity with no help at all. Think of it this way. Imagine a garden hose lying flat on the ground, with water flowing freely. Now imagine someone sits on that hose. Not hard, just sits on it, gently, for 6 or 7 hours a day. The water does not stop completely, but it slows. It backs up. The pressure builds behind the blockage. The material inside starts to stagnate. That is what hours of sitting does to your venous circulation. Not all at once. Slowly, silently. Day after day after day. A landmark study published in the European Heart Journal in 2021, following more than 80,000 adults over the age of 55, found that people who spent more than 8 hours per day sitting had a 64% higher risk of developing peripheral venous disease compared to those who interrupted their sitting with regular, short movement breaks, even breaks as brief as 2 to 3 minutes every hour. 64%. And the researchers emphasized something that I want you to hear clearly. This risk was largely independent of whether or not the person exercised in the morning. A 1-hour walk at 7 in the morning does not undo 8 hours of stillness in the afternoon. Robert was 69 years old, a retired truck driver from Nashville, Tennessee. He had spent 30 years of his working life sitting behind a wheel, and when he retired, he traded that seat for his recliner. He told me during his first appointment that he sat for most of the day watching television, and that by the time he went to bed, his calves ached with a deep, relentless pressure. Every single morning, before his feet touched the floor, the pain was already waiting for him. He had accepted it as the price of a long career. What we did together was simple. Every 60 minutes, Robert stood up, walked to the kitchen and back, and did 10 slow ankle circles before sitting back down. That was it. No gym, no special shoes, no medication. Within 3 weeks, he came back to my office and said, quietly and a little surprised, "Doctor, I think those 2 minutes are doing more for my legs than the pill I have been taking for 2 years." His legs were not broken. His pump had simply been switched off, and all it needed was someone to switch it back on. What you can do starting today: set a timer on your phone for every 45 to 60 minutes while you are seated. When it goes off, stand up, walk to another room, do 10 slow ankle pumps, flex your foot up toward your shin, then point it down, 10 times on each side. If you have stairs, walk up and down once. If you cannot stand easily, the ankle movements alone, done seated, are enough to reactivate the calf pump and get your blood moving. And before you even get out of bed in the morning, while you are still lying there waiting for that pain to pass, do not just wait. Flex both feet 10 times. Circle both ankles 5 times in each direction. Those 30 seconds of movement before your feet touch the floor tell your circulatory system, the pump is back on. We are moving again. Good morning. Now, before I give you the action plan, I need you to pay very close attention to what I am about to say, because your body may already be telling you something, and I want to make sure you hear it. If you wake up in the morning with pain, heaviness, or a burning sensation in your calves or feet before you even take your first step, that is a signal. If you experience nighttime cramps that jolt you awake and force you to get up and walk the room, that is a signal. If you notice that your ankles are swollen by the end of the day, leaving deep marks where your socks were sitting, that is a signal. If you feel tingling, numbness, or that pins and needles sensation in your feet, especially at night or first thing in the morning, that is a signal. If your legs feel unusually cold to the touch, or if one leg consistently feels colder than the other, please do not ignore that. If you notice that the skin on your lower legs has become shiny, tight, or darkened over time, or if small wounds on your feet or ankles are taking longer than usual to heal, those are signals your circulation and your nerves are asking you to listen more carefully. If you have any of these symptoms, even just 1 or 2, I want you to ask your doctor for a few specific tests. Ask for a venous duplex ultrasound, which maps the health of your leg veins and identifies problems with the valves. Ask for a hemoglobin A1C, which tells your doctor whether your blood sugar has been running high over the past 3 months, because uncontrolled blood sugar is one of the most damaging things you can do to the nerves in your legs and feet. Ask for a basic metabolic panel that includes your serum magnesium, because most doctors do not check this routinely, and most patients over 60 are deficient without knowing it. And if you have been waking up repeatedly throughout the night, not only because of leg pain, but also with episodes of restlessness or breathlessness, ask about a sleep study called a polysomnography to rule out sleep apnea, which directly affects your nighttime circulation. These are not exotic or expensive tests. Many of them can be ordered through your primary care physician and covered by Medicare. Your body has been sending you these messages for a reason. The question is whether you are finally ready to listen. So let me give you your action plan, right now, today. No waiting, no excuses, no, I'll start on Monday. First, drink a full glass of water before your feet touch the floor in the morning. Not coffee, not juice. Water. Your blood has been thickening all night, and that is the very first thing you can do to thin it back out. Second, before you get up, move your feet. 10 slow flexes. Pull your toes toward your shin, then point them away. 10 ankle circles in each direction. 30 seconds. That alone reactivates your calf pump and tells your circulation, we are starting again. Third, set a timer during the day. Every 45 to 60 minutes of sitting, stand up and take 30 steps. To the kitchen and back. That is enough. Fourth, read 1 nutrition label today. Pick 1 item in your pantry and check the sodium. You will be surprised. Fifth, schedule a visit with your doctor and ask specifically for a venous duplex ultrasound and a serum magnesium test. Ask by name. Sixth, share this video with someone you love before the day is over. Prevention saves lives, and the earlier it starts, the more it saves. A 2023 report from the Global Burden of Disease Study estimated that peripheral vascular disease, driven largely by sedentary behavior, excess sodium, and chronic dehydration, is now responsible for over 190,000 preventable deaths per year in the United States alone. Not from heart attacks, not from strokes, from legs that stopped being heard. The health of your legs is not a lottery. It is not something that was decided for you before you were born. It is the result of the choices you make each day, and today you made a good one. You sat with this information, you listened, you paid attention. That already puts you ahead of millions of people who are still dismissing their pain as just old age and rolling over to go back to sleep. You are here because you care about your health. And that, my friend, is not a small thing. That is everything. Now do one more thing before this day is over. Share this video. Send it to your husband or your wife. Send it to that friend who complains every morning about waking up stiff and sore but has never once talked to a doctor about it. Send it to that sibling who sits in front of the television from morning to night and thinks that's just retirement. You might not be able to sit next to them in the doctor's office, but you can put this in their hands right now. And that might be the most important thing you do for them this year. In the next video, I am going to talk about something that surprises almost every patient I share it with, a silent condition that affects the heart during sleep and that most people over 60 have never even heard of, let alone been tested for. You will not want to miss it. Take very good care of yourself. Always seek the guidance of your own trusted physician. God bless you and grant you many years of health. I will see you in the next one.